All right, you are welcome again tonight. Good evening, good evening, good evening to every one of you. Like I said, today we are going to be very, very, very fast. We're going to be very, very fast today. Good evening, and welcome everyone. So we're going to be fast today. Highest, I'm going to take just 30 minutes today. Highest 30 minutes today. All right. So I'm going to start with a very short word of prayer before we begin. All right. I'm going to start with a very short word of prayer. So let's pray in Jesus' name. Father, we thank you tonight. We appreciate you for your lives. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for making today a reality in our lives. Lord, as we begin this session, we ask, oh God, that your presence would be with us and you will help us to comprehend whatever will be taught today. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen and amen. All right. So there's one thing you are going to help me to do right now. Yes, you're highly welcome. Immediately you join us, just let us know where you're watching us from so that I will be able to recognize your presence properly. Thank you so much for joining. And for those that are going to watch later, yeah, thank you so much too. All right, so immediately you join us, let us know where you're watching us from. Also, help share this broadcast, help share this live session. All right, that's going to help us a lot. That's what I'm going to do right now, and I expect you to do the same. Send to your group, send to your friends, especially for those that have interest in graphic design. All right, so that's what I'm going to do right now, and I expect you to do the same for me. All right, so if you have gotten any value from this session, just share it. All right, so this a free session that I'm having with you guys, and um, let me say that's just the way you can pay me right now. All right, so share the broadcast to your friends. All right, so I'm going to share right now to my own people, and I expect you to do the same. All right, so that's what I'm going to do right now. So immediately I come back, we are going to start fully. All right, so in the next 1 minute we should begin fully. I'm not going to take time today at all. All right, so um that's what I'm going to do. What am I going to do? I'm going to share the link to this broadcast. Do the same for me. And immediately you join me, let me know where you're watching from. Yes, I can see someone has joined. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm going to get your name from YouTube, and I'm going to appreciate you specially. All right. And thanks also in advance to those that are going to join us later. All right. Please help me share this link. Help me share this link to your friends, to groups on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere, any social media platform you are in. Share the link, and if you've not subscribed, for sure you should be part of this YouTube family. Please subscribe to the channel and also share it. I'm going to do that right away, and I expect you to do the same. This is the episode 2 of students review session and the principles of graphic design. So we're going to stop. We are going to start rather. We're going to continue, not start. We're going to continue from where we stopped last week. That's where we're going to continue from. So and I know this week, today we are going to have great value. So I'm going to share the link right now to my friends. All right. Thank you for those of you that are joining. Thank you so much. Please let me know where you're watching from. Let me know where you're watching from so I can appreciate you better. I don't want to take your presence here for granted at all. Yes, yes. I really appreciate your presence here. Thank you for being part of this YouTube family. All right. So I'm going to take a minute to share the broadcast to my friends and loved ones, and also those that are interested in joining. So do the same for me, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back, and I'm back. Thank you for staying with me. All right, I can see someone here. Yeah, thank you, Suraju Hassan from yes, Junior Hero. Thank you. She's watching from Ghana. I really appreciate your presence. Thanks for coming. All right, so if you're just joining, let us know where you're watching from and share the broadcast. All right, so today, if you can hear me, just type "I can hear you" so that I will know that you can hear me very well. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, type "I can hear you," and then that will help me to, know that yes, somebody's following. All right, so if you can follow me, let me know I can hear you. Type that um, in the comment section. Okay, so today we are going to go straight to why we're here, and is the review session. All right, so it's a review session. That is why we're here. So I'm going to review some of the designs. Like I said, highest I'm going to take this, this evening is 30 minutes. That's the highest I'm going to take this evening. All right, so now you can see on your screen, you can see the episode 2. That's episode 2 of the students review session with Igbo Christians. So, like I've said, if you have not watched the first episode, please do well to go back to that video. I've left in the description of this video. So click it and watch the first episode so that you can follow along in this second episode as well. All right. So we are going to go straight to why we're here, and that's what we're doing, right? All right. So like I've always repeated, this is not to discourage you from from design. All right, and this is not to condemn your design. This is not a platform for condemnation. It's a platform for growth and a platform for development and for empowerment, and that is what I hope to achieve with this live session, weekly live session we've been having for 2 weeks currently. All right, other episodes are going to come up, and you're going to be notified in due time. All right, so it's just to correct you and to show you the principles that you need to follow when you're making your designs. All right, so that's what I wanted to note about this live session. Okay, so we're going to go straight to some of the designs that were submitted. um, Now, some of these correct designs, I might be changing them from time to time, but currently, I'm still working with the ones I worked with last week. All right, to show some of the principles you need to take note of. And after I do that, I'm also, going to show you practically how you should structure your designs in such a way that they will look professional and acceptable. All right, so now, if you look at this first design here, this was submitted, I think that was earlier this week. Okay, it's for actually barbing shop. I love, and the trial. Yes, it's not easy to try. You get so I really enjoy seeing someone trying out something. You get so it's actually a nice trial. Yes. All right. So nevertheless, if the color combination, well, yeah, I can see the color combination. The contrast is good. All right. So um, the color combination isn't really a big issue. All right, isn't really a big issue, though I noted it as one of the issue. And then alignment. Um, well, the alignment, I actually love the alignment too. You can see the centralized alignment from the heading, and then left alignment for the body. All right, the major issues here, we have spacing, issue of spacing. You can see just Ghana cedis, 10 Ghana cedis. You can see that the shape you use here. The first thing, well, I would want you to watch the first episode of this review session. Watch the first episode, it's going to help you a lot. All right. Number one, you can see the spacing. You didn't leave enough border for your designs. All right. I'm talking about the design to the left. You didn't leave, you can see the one to the right. You can see good border. All right. You can see that good allowances were left to the top and the either sides of the design, top, bottom, and either sides of the design. So If you look at the images here, you actually put the images inside the shape. So you are actually supposed to align these shapes. You know, if you had set boundaries for your designs, you would have aligned it properly as well. All right, and that's, because you have added, you have matched the you have boxed the images. So you should have done that for this particular design. And our services, they all should be capital, that's a normal thing. And then you would have given a little space above it. All right, so I'm going to talk about spacing today a lot, and that's what I'm going to practicalize today. And I'll show you how you are going to, manage spacing. All right, you can see from childhood to adulthood, you can see that the shape is actually too long. All right, this is just a line. The space is too long. That's not to say you shouldn't give spaces, good spaces, when you are creating a shape for text or for objects. You can see the one to your right. You can see to get access join skill money. By the way, skill money, like I have said in the first video, is a platform where you learn skills and also get the opportunity you know, um, to make money while you learn. All right. So joining skill money is going to be a plus to you. All right. So I'm personally a member of skill money. I'm a part of skill money, and you can do well to join that platform. Is actually a great platform, and you're going to enjoy what you're going to learn there. You're going to learn most almost all the digital skills you can think of learning. All right, so we have about that's about 5 to 6 actually. All right, so it might not be all, but the major ones: Facebook ads, copywriting, graphic design, UI UX design. Some of these major skills, most popular skills, digital skills you can think of, they are actually taught in skill money. You can register with just a token, and you also have opportunity to invite others. So I've dropped my invitation link in the description of this video. You can do well to check that out. And if you think you should add value to yourself by learning some of these skills with just a token, you can do well to enroll with just a little token, and then you have opportunity to refer others and get commission for any referral you do as well. All right, so I've talked about spacing, I've talked about borders, the color. Well, the background, it could have, made it something, do something creative, with the background, but that's not my major issue now. My major issue is the arrangement, the spacing, and then the text, especially that just 10 Ghana cedis in that shape, is not centralized, and it's too big. All right, so there's a way you can manage that, and it will be better. All right, thank you for joining. I think I have some new persons joining. If you're just joining, let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. All right, that will help me a lot. All right, so I can appreciate you more personally. All right, I think I'll need to check that now to know who is joining right now. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. um I think, let me show this. Yes, thank you, Hassan. I have to, bring them up to appreciate you very well. All right, thank you, Adetunji Fola Hami. Thank you for joining. All right, yes, skill money. Money, thank you for joining from Nigeria. Thank you for joining from Nigeria. I really appreciate you. Thank you for joining this family from Nigeria. Yeah. Which part of Nigeria are you joining from, please? Okay. All right, thank you, Peter Samuel. Thank you for joining. Yes, I have to spotlight every one of you for the world to see. Yeah, I really appreciate everyone that's joining. I really appreciate. I don't want to take that for granted at all. Thank you, Peter Samuel, for joining. Peter is from Nigeria too. All right, Adetunji is from Osun State. All right, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining me in this live session. So let's go ahead. So for those that are going to join later, if you join, maybe you join, please let me know where you're joining from so I can appreciate you better. All right, so I finished with this design. So I'm going to move in. All right, so I have to patch out some of the parts so that I don't really review some sensitive details on the designs. All right, because most of these designs are actually done for clients. All right, by students, those that have enrolled for any of my courses, and you can get access as well via the link, any of the links in the description. You can check that out. All right, for this is actually good. I love the alignment pattern and everything. All right, just apart from I actually noted border allowance. If you can see the border allowance below is actually kind of closer than the one above. All right, I spent 10 minutes. I'm watching my time really, and I'm going to keep to it. All right, so the one below is not as wide as the one above. Sometimes, well, sometimes most designs come like that. But like I've told you in the first video, you need to create almost a perfect, especially when you're working with square designs. All right, you need to create the border allowance to the top must or should be the same with the border allowance below. All right, it's very important and to help you a lot. The second one is the shape, this high quality edge that I don't know what shape to call that. All right, like it's four-sided actually. All right, the way it is and the way the text is rotated isn't looking very professional. All right, but ultimately it is a good design. Love it. Um, there's a new morphism effect on these services. I really love it. I really love it. I think I know that in the group. All right, for those of you that may not be familiar with the courses, you can check, like I've said, check the links in the description and get one for yourself. Then get access to the community so that you can interact with others. All right, for this design, well, aligned left, then the contacts here, the venue, the venue or the location centralized. All right. So my my problem is I think I know the spacing and then the edge allowance. All right. I think this is from Peter. Yes. Peter, I've been talking about this edge allowance. All right. So I've been talking about this edge allowance. You know, I mean, please watch the first video if you have not watched it. Watch the first video, and you're going to get an example from there. Okay, so you can see, oh, this the fashion home. If you have any need for fashion, since I haven't closed all the phone numbers, you can patronize them. All right, so the space between this fashion home and the activities is too wide. All right, so there's a way you can see play around with it, and you can make the whole thing um, left aligned. All right, so if you want the image to make it balance to the right, you can make the whole thing left aligned, um, especially for the services and the phone numbers. You can make them left aligned, while you may decide to leave um, the location as centralized. Is still fine. All right, so um, you could have just done something, close up the space. The space is actually too wide. All right, it's good to leave spaces. You can look at the one to the right. You can see how disorganized. So I'm going to talk about spacing today, and I believe you are going to learn a lot. All right, for these two designs, well, yeah, I love these designs. All right, I love these designs. The one to my left, yeah, is the alignment is okay. um the little problem I would have is kind of 11 a.m., 12:30, kind of too close to the edges. You have just shrunk them in a little or extended the shape a bit, more than that. But the whole concept is fine. I can't really see what's on the background, but the whole concept is fine. The contrast is coming up well. And then come, let us pray. Maybe you could have shrinked that in a little and then taking it to the left a little, just a little. All right. But I just love the whole concept. Right aligned, that's perfect. That's all right. It's fine like that. And the one to my right, well, I'll talk about if you look at the name, you added the tree defects and well, design is a kind of balanced in a way, because we're trying to use this 10 November, and then the caption to the left, the person at the middle, the happy birthday centralized, the name centralized. So you can all this kind of make design be balanced, but it's not looking very professional. So what I would advise you to do is to, or you tried, I can't remember who did this. What I would advise you to do is always get out some concepts. Some concepts were sent to the group. All right, get some concepts, and then get some ideas from that. So I've taken 15 minutes of my time. So this, you can read this up from the previous episode. That was the first episode. All right, how to make a good design, and then steps to making an attractive design. We've discussed contrasts also. We've discussed balance and alignment, and then we are talking about hierarchy today. All right, so hierarchy in graphic design utilizes several key principles, all right, including size, color, contrast, alignment, repetition, brightness, to emphasize certain characteristics of the design. So that is what hierarchy is. In hierarchy, you utilize size, you utilize color, you utilize contrast, alignment, and the rest that I've mentioned to emphasize certain characteristics, to emphasize a certain, part of a design. All right, it controls those factors in order to show importance within which, within the design as a whole. All right, so now hierarchy is just like placing the placement of how you place elements in the design. All right, based on their importance. That is what hierarchy is. Now, if you look at this example here, now you will read this first, and then you will read this line next. Why do you think? I'm going to give out this slide, and it's going to help you a lot. All right, I'm going to give out this slide. In fact, the bonus for today is the slide for episode one. I'm going to give it out for free. I'm going to give it out for free. All right. So if you are on this stream, I'm going to give it to you. All right, for free, so you could go through it um more carefully. All right. For me, I'm just going to explain some things for you. When you go through, you're going to understand. You will read this first. The person was very sure that you're going to read this first. Why? Because he prioritized it in this particular design. And then you will read this line next. Unconsciously, that was what you did actually when you saw the screen. Or whenever you see this kind of, that's what you would do, because now the difference there is, one is color, then the second is the size. All right. So if you look at what I said here, hierarchy in graphic design utilizes several key principles, including what size, including color, contrast. Contrast and color, they are almost together. Alignment and several other stuff that we mentioned there. You can see that the size was deployed here to show hierarchy. Hierarchy now is showing the most important part of the design, making it obvious for people to see. All right, that is what hierarchy talks about as a principle. All right, so hierarchy in typography, when you are typing, the hierarchy, maybe whenever it can be with any element. All right, so for typography, now if you have a heading and a subheading and then the body of a letter, then they write Zika. Zika have simplified this for us, and we're using it. All right, so you can see the title, the subtitle, and then the heading. And then if you look at the one to the right, you can see that there's no hierarchy. That is, there's no preference given to where the preference should be given to. All right, the title should be a bit bold, because that is actually the summary of the whole thing. All right, so it should be captivating. Well, that's not our concern. Our concern is that you should give priority to the most important parts of your design, because somebody might just be fast. He might just swipe through your design. All right, so but the most important part should captivate that person. That is what hierarchy is talking about. So hierarchy in text, in typography, typographic hierarchy, which is hierarchy in text, typography is that you should arrange your text in such a way that the most important parts, draw attention through. Maybe it could be size, increasing the size, and then the next important part should follow. All right, so maybe the part that is going to talk about a little about the heading is going to be the sub or the subheading. you know is going to be a bit larger than the body. All right, so I believe you understand what I'm saying. So you don't just write um okay, so you don't just write things without giving preferences to the important aspects. So it could be um, you increase the size, you change the color, all right, you make it to make it obvious. You get all right. So the next thing is you can see this before and after. You can see Jane Smith. You can see how it is written in the right hand side. First, it's kind of not really balanced, uh, and then there was no hierarchy involved in this text at all. Right? But after you have applied the principle of hierarchy, you can see that Jane Smith is becoming obvious. So you know who is this lady here immediately before you go into knowing about any other thing about her in this card here. All right, so I'm going to talk about repetition. Repetition um, is using elements over and over again in a design. So um, that's a great way to actually add texture to your design. Okay, so I'm going to give you this. I wrote some things that are going to help you here about repetition. Repetition, like I've said, um, that's the what will I call it now? That's just the whole summary. All right, just to repeat something, repeat an element, repeat a group of elements in a design. All right, so for those that are into web design like myself, I mean UI UX design like myself, it's actually a principle that we use a lot. You design a card, you will use it again. I have few minutes, like 8 minutes to the end of my class. So today I'm going to talk about proximity again. So I'm going to demonstrate proximity for you so that you understand whenever you're making design, so that you know how and what to how to structure your design and how to place your elements. That's one of the things that you need to do as a graphic designer. You need to know that. All right, so I won't go through everything here about the proximity because I actually noted a lot about it. About whatever I'm going to give out this particular slide, you're going to have opportunity to go through them for yourself. Okay, for today, proximity is actually a principle of design that refers to spatial relationship between the elements of the design, how to space your elements. All right, so um, now, the rules of proximity are pretty simple. This principle is very important for you to note. The rules of proximity are pretty simple. Things that are related should be nearer to each other, and things that are unrelated should be placed farther from each other. All right, that is a very key principle you must take note of. All right, so and that is what I'm going to demonstrate this night. All right, it is used in the following areas: grouping and organization, and all of that. So I have some of them written here for you, so you can do well to go through them whenever I give you this this slide. All right, the other principles that we are going to be talking about subsequently: scale and proportion, movement and rhythm, white and negative space, emphasis, color, typography, and then unity. We're going to talk about that in upcoming episodes. All right, so like I showed in the previous episode, yeah, students are actually also doing amazing stuff. All right, so I'll keep showing what they're doing that are amazing. I really love some of these concepts that are coming out from them. Really, really amazing stuffs, and I really appreciate God for what the wonderful things students are doing, and for the things He's doing in the lives of students as well. All right, so yes, like I also talked about this particular course in my previous video, that episode we did. Also inviting you to join this episode, this course as well. I'm going to be doing a very massive discount in the month of April, and don't miss it for anything. You can enroll for this, and I'm going to give you um, some more courses as bonus. All right, yes, I'm going to add another course as a bonus. If you get it now, And if you're going to wait for April, if you get it now, I'm going to add another course as a bonus. If you join this call, I'm going to give you another course as a bonus. And then if you're going to wait for the discount, that's going to be still up to you. All right. So that's for that. For the discount, you're not going to get the bonus course. All right, you can see some of the designs from this particular course. All designs we achieved the smartphone. All right, just quickly, simply, and some tricks used here are shared. Everything shared. This was done with Canva. This was done with Pixellab. One was done with Canva. The one to the left done with Canva. The one to the right with Pixellab, and everything is actually included in that course. All right, so to join, you can see the link here, 5-in-1 SGDCC. You can click that seller.co/slash 5-in-1 SGDCC. You can, visit this website, and then you are going to get access to the course at a very cheap rate. All right, so I'm going to go to the demonstration of um, of of proximity that I was talking about. I have a very limited time. I'm going to do that. Okay. Okay. So if you join us, let us know where you're watching from so we can appreciate you better. All right. And if you're going to join later, yes, receive my heartfelt appreciation as well. All right. So I'm going to share my screen right away. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Let me present and share my screen. So I will demonstrate how proximity works. All right, I have 4 minutes to the end of this class because I said I was going to use only 30 minutes. All right, so I just have a few minutes, um, and I would love to demonstrate this. All right, so this was what we talked about last week. All right, so I'm going to delete this. All right, so I'm going to delete this. Let me just delete it so we could begin from somewhere. All right, I believe you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, let me know. Let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, you can write, I can see your screen, so that I will know that there are people following me. All right, I have a few minutes, so um, let me not take the time. So I don't want to take the time again. So I will just go straight to what I'm doing. So I'm going to show proximity. What's proximity? I'm going to draw um, a frame. All right, it's 1,000 on, okay, 1,500 for the four. So let me reduce it a little so that it doesn't lag. All right, so this is Figma actually. So I just want to use this to demonstrate. So the first thing you should do before you make your design, is to create a perfect. All right, so now I can make my allowance, the edge allowance. Um, I can make it like this. Okay, I just want to create something. Um, all right, you can see now what I'm trying to do is that everything, all the elements I'm going to use are going to come inside this. All right, except maybe if I want to use kind of image. I think I explained that last week when we met, so you can check that out. All right, so um, you can also use lines and rulers. All right, to demarcate and create your borders. Okay, you can use lines and rulers, all right, to create your borders. Okay, so let's say I have a text here. Let's say I have a text. Um let's say the creative masterclass. So I'm going to use, all right, so you can see that this is actually a bit wide. Okay, let me just use shapes so that we won't take much time. All right, so now just assume that this is the heading. This is my heading. This is the first line. This is the second line. Now you can see that the spacing here is let me reduce this a bit like this. The spacing here is 8. All right, so I'm just demonstrating something. All right, so this is the heading, and I'm going to put the demonstration. I mean the description of the heading. All right, so it's not going to be as fat as that. All right, so just take these shapes to be text. All right, so take them to be text. So this is the heading, and this is the heading description. Now, spacing, what you're going to do for spacing is these one are the same. Now, proximity, we're talking about the principle of proximity. We're saying that um, related elements are going to be closer to each other, and then unrelated elements are going to be farther away from each other. All right, so for this you can see that if I add an auto layout here, sorry if you don't understand what an auto layout is. This is Figma. This is 5. All right, so let me change the spacing maybe to 8. All right, so now this is the spacing here. Then if I come with the description, I can decide to put the description on maybe 10. All right, the spacing, the difference between this and this, I can say this is, you can see if I zoom out, you can see this is writing 18. I can change it to 10. I can just change it to 10. All right, all right. I can change it to 10, and then I'm going to duplicate this. Don't worry, I'm going to the spacing between this is 8. So the spacing between these two that are related is 8 also. All right. Um, so let me put this, and then this is 8. This is 8. All right. So all right, this is 8 as well. All right. So let's say this is actually left aligned. Let's say it's left aligned. So when I'm done with what I'm doing, you are going to see what I want to achieve here. All right, so you can see this is big, which is going to be the heading, and these are actually text. All right, so and this is actually smaller because they are the description of this particular heading. All right, so let me add an auto layout to all of them. All right, so they are the description um, of this particular heading. All right, so this is 8, and we say this is 8. Now let this be 16, and this is 16 because this heading, the reason why I put it at 10 initially was because they are actually related, because this is actually describing the heading. All right, they are a bit related. All right, the rule of proximity that says things that are not related should be farther apart from each other, and the ones that are related should be closer to each other, is what we want to apply here. All right, so when you finish the heading and you write the description, all right, the description is not actually a bit far away from, it's not too different from the heading, so they are related. So I'm going to take it a bit closer. So I'm not going to make it um, that 16 I said. So I'm going to take it a bit closer. Now, if I want to write, maybe I want to talk about services now. All right, so services now is going to be a bit far. It's going to be farther away because this is not heading. This is about services. All right, so maybe this is going to take, let's say, another color. All right, so let's just make it a bit different in a way. All right, and you can, it's going to be a bit smaller too. This is going to talk about our services, or the services we render. All right, so these services now is going to be far from this. All right, I'm going to make it 32. Okay, I'm going to make it 32. There's a way you can make your spacing, um, make it professional in such a way that the ones that are closer to themselves maintain a particular spacing. The ones that are farther apart, that are different from that particular section, we have a multiplication of that spacing times 2. Probably, yeah, that's if you look at the way I did, I'm actually trying to make you understand. If you look at the way I did the first one, the text is here. I just pressed enter, use the text. This is the text. and then okay, I give a spacing of 10. All right, I give a spacing of 10. All right, just consider this to be block words, not really, there's no space between the, it's just press enter and then use the spacing. I give the spacing of 10. Now if I'm going to write another thing, um I can multiply that spacing by 2, and that's actually supposed to, it's going to be 20, right? So it's going to be 20. So I'm going to give the space of 20. It's actually looking, a bit close to me. So we are going to make it, let's make it 40. All right, so we're making this 40. Remember the spacing we gave in between, they are 8. So we are going to bring this is now related. So I'm not going to make this 40 again, right? Because this is actually the title for, okay, our services include, and then you come and put the first service far away from this other heading here. It's not going to make sense. So our services include, so I'm going to make this now the normal spacing between um same stuff, which is going to be, let's say, we are going to go with 8 8, right? So we are going to go with 8 8. So include, then you write you write it, everything is this is supposed to be 8, right? So let me just add an auto layout and then write it here so that it's fast. All right, these are services. Our services include, okay, there are how many services here? Let me kind of okay, add again. So our services include this. So, oh my God, we are behind. Our time is gone. Our time is gone. All right. So now what I'm trying to demonstrate is that elements that are closer to, that are more related, that are related to themselves. Now these other ones, we have to make it a bit thinner because the heading itself, you know, the heading is supposed to be a bit larger than the body. Maybe you can use bold there, it can be bold, and then the other one normal or regular. All right, so um, or it can be, you can show the difference in the difference can be in the size, color, it can be, anything. I'm just trying to make this left aligned so that it looks realistic. Okay, and then now you can see that the heading and the subheading, they are a bit closer to themselves. All right, they are closer to themselves because they are more related. Then this last part, they are a bit, you can see the spacing here, it's far away from this. All right, and then the next part, which is going to be maybe the last part, should maintain the space of um I think we used 40, right? So it should maintain 40 from this, and this has a spacing of 40. Then this and this should maintain relatively the same spacing. Okay, all right. And then okay, so you can see that here we go. All right, so for example, I'm just trying to give an example, and then I can, now if you look at this design, from if you were in the last class, you can see the heading here, you can see how it's structured. The left is left aligned, everything is perfectly, aligned to the left. All right, so you can see the spacing. The first one that are more related, they are closer to themselves. The heading and the description, they're closer to themselves. And then after the description, we now come to the services. Now you can see that the services are also closer to themselves. And then after the services, the same spacing that you give between the service and the heading with each description is also, you should give a close spacing, actually the same spacing. All right, so you can use a multiple, or maybe the spaces within, or if elements that are close to themselves are using the spacing of 10, you can multiply 10 maybe by 2, by 3, depending on the kind of design you're doing and the number of elements or text you're supposed to put in. You can multiply by 2 or 3 and then put together, um multiply by 2 3, or maybe 4, like what we did here, spacing of 10 between the maybe you might not be able to practically the way I'm seeing it here on Figma, you might not be able to do that maybe on Pixellab or some other softwares. Corridor gives guides these days. All right, latest versions of Corridor give guides these days. You may not be able to see in Pixellab, but you can use your facial. You can use a facial observation. You can observe with your eyes and do that. All right, so it's going to help you a lot. So when you see the spacing, try and multiply it by 2, 3, or 4, and keep be consistent with that spacing when you are bringing other aspects of the design. All right, so for example, this is the heading and the description. This The first one is the heading, the second one is the description. Now the third is what we do, and then what we do we are listed, and then the last is contact information. Just an example, contact information. You can see that these are three separate sections: the heading, what we do, and then contact information. So the spacing between them, the spacing between heading and the description of the heading are going to be closer because they are more related. And then the spacing between, and then it's going to be farther away, a little bit farther from what we do as services. And then the services are going to be listed are going to be closer to themselves because they are related. That is what proximity is talking about. When I give you what about what's it called? When I give you the presentation, you can read about it. Now, if you look at this design, you can't do this kind of design and present it like this because it is not balanced. If you look to your right here, this side here, there's nothing here. So it makes the design not to be balanced. So you can either put an image, depending on the kind of design you're doing. Now, I've taken off that line, so yep, I need to bring it back. All right, depending on the kind of design you're doing, you can put maybe an image here to balance up the design. All right, you can put an image here to balance up the design. So if you put an image here to balance up the design, depending on the kind of image you want to put, you can put it here like this. All right, you can put the image here like this, depending on it depends on the kind of design you're doing. All right, so if there's an image on this stuff, it's going to balance up the design. All right. So because designs need to be balanced when divided into two. All right. So you can watch the last episode if you want to know more about that. And then if you want to bring in maybe an image like something like, let me bring in a random image and use on the design. Um, Okay, for example, let's bring in this particular image, all right, and use for this particular design. All right, so you can see this image. All right, so you can use this image this way. Okay, I think, and then when you're, resizing your image, I told you what to do, so you can watch the last episode. All right, so any other element that's coming, it can come. Maybe you can just keep something here. And don't forget, whatever you're going to keep has to align to the top. All right, I remove that shape, but you have to keep it until you can see that Figma is aligning it for me. All right, so and then the space between the last edge of this shape and then the final border of your design environment should be the same with the space between this first element here and the final border as well. All right, so I just use my eyes to put this now. All right, so I'm just saying you can put an element there, or you can there's a way you can also put the image that it will balance it up, and there will be no need for this. All right, so okay, so we are taking this image, all right, uh, to add visual weight. All right, visual weight. That's what we define balance to be. Visual weight. We are giving it to the background, and it's going to add visual weight to our design, and it's going to make the design balanced for us. All right. So if the design is divided into two equal halves. So that is what I just wanted to let you know today, so that whenever you're making your design, the spacing between your elements, they are very important. They're very important. So that's how to make designs professional. So your edge too is very important. So I believe, let me stop sharing. I believe some persons, yeah, some persons have joined. Thank you, Mr. Paul Payemi. Thank you for joining. from Nigeria. Let me spotlight you. Thank you for joining from Nigeria. Yes. All right. Thank you for joining to Mudasi Hassan. All right. From Northern Ghana. All right. Yes, you were in the last class also. I really, really, really do appreciate your presence. I really do appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Do you have questions? I've taken much time today. Thank you. I'm not sure if there's anybody I've not recognized. And then those of you that are going to join us much later, those of you that will join us much later, thank you too. Thank you too. I really, really appreciate. All right. So if you have questions, please drop your questions now in the comment section so that I can do well to answer them before we say good night for tonight. So if you haven't watched the first episode, do well to watch that because there are actually lots and lots of stuffs that we are spoken about there. I said we are not going to take up to more than 30 minutes, but I had to, do this because I needed to explain proximity because some of you are not really observing that in your designs. So how close your elements are, how far they are from each other, it's very important. All right. Related elements or related information come closer, and then the ones that are another section of that particular design you're making has to go a little bit further. And then the one that is another section yet has to maintain the same spacing that the first one maintains. Thank you, Uche Hope, for joining from. Thank you for yes from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So if you're just joining us, let us know where you're joining from. Is there any question? I believe there's no question again. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining. So today I'm going to give don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, so I'm going to give the first slide that we used last week for free. I'm going to give you the slide, so you're going to go through it. And the first principles we talked about there, they were explained there. You can read also more about that or about them. You can read more about them. So I'm going to give you that slide for free. All right, so I'm going to give you that slide for free, and that is the package for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate. I spotlighted, I think, almost everyone for tonight's class. Yes, that's joined the stream. And then for those that are going to join later, like I've said, I really, really do appreciate. I really, really do appreciate. All right, so that is that for tonight's class. I'm checking for questions and I can't find any. So so how do you get your the slide? Um, like now I've taken note of those that are present. All right, so if you watched the live, if you join the live stream, you can indicate um send I joined. Yes, I joined the live. You can check this. Look at the information below. So the package today, like I've announced today with my mouth, is a slide for the slide for last week. That's what we're going to give for free today. All right, so just follow the instruction that's rolling below. Follow the instruction. You're going to get access to that slide that was used for the correction. Thank you again for joining, and do have a great time. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not. I will be happy if you join this YouTube family. All right, where we make things happen, so we could make things happen together as well. All right, I think someone asked a question about skill money. How how much does it cost? Well, it's about $2.5. The currently is 3,000 naira for the standard plan. All right, so skill money is a platform where you can learn skill, like I've said, and then get access to refer others, and then get paid. All right, you're going to be paid 1,000 naira for any person you refer. All right, that's about maybe 15 Ghana cedis or so, or 10 Ghana cedis. Can't really recall. All right, so registration is just 3,000. You can refer others and get paid 1,000. You can refer up to 10 persons for the starter plan. Starter plan. You can refer up to 10 persons. So you're paying 3,000. You are getting access to learn digital skills, and you're referring people and getting up to 10,000. So that's pretty good, investment to make, because you're still going to learn from it. All right, I want to appreciate all of you for joining. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. I'm going to start again. Thank you, Hassan Suraju. Thank you, Adetuji Folahami. Yes, Hassan is from Ghana. Adetuji is from Nigeria, from Osun State to be precise. Thank you, Peter Samuel, for joining. Thank you, Saint Paul, Peter and Paul. They are they are awesome, awesome, awesome designers, as well as the others that have joined as well. All right, thank you, Uche Hope, for joining me as well. All right, thank you everyone for joining, and do have a good time. If you join in later, do well to let us know where you're watching from also, and I'm going to appreciate you, especially on this channel as well. So I'm going to announce the next episode um, when the time comes. All right, so we might not be able to meet next week, but as soon as we um, get the class materials in place for the next episode, I'm going to announce that, and then we are going to push further. All right, I'm going to be quite engaged next weekend, hopefully. So we might not be able to do that. I had to do this today because I've made a commitment already. All right, do have a good time, and do well to visit the channel, get to watch videos. There are awesome videos here for you, and do have a great time. God bless you. Bye for now. Bye. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Bye. Bye. Yeah.